This is a Big Hitter Silver 7 Tour, and yes, it's a flippin' mouthful. It is a 7-sided tennis string from the very budget-friendly tennis string manufacturer Tourna. I've reviewed the Tourna Big Hitter Silver. It's an amazing alternative to the Luxon Alu Power, and it is 75% cheaper as well. I'll leave a link to that review in this corner if you haven't checked it out already. Will the Big Hitter Silver 7 Tour live up to my consumer-friendly expectation? Let's find out. While stringing on my racket, I noticed two things. First, this is a very stiff poly. Second, even though there are 7 edges, all the edges felt very sharp. It felt more like I was stringing a 4-sided poly like the Slinko Tour Bite, or is that 5-sided? I totally forgot. Leave a comment down section below if I said something wrong. These two characteristics carried over into the tennis court as well. The spin potential from the string bed is quite monstrous. The 7 sides really does the grippy grip on the ball when accelerating through the air. And Google search that. It's actually a scientific and biological term with safe search off. Although there are plenty of strings out there with less edges, the 7 sides really do a number on the tennis ball's fuzz. And yes, I did say this is a stiff string, but after about 5 minutes of hitting, the string actually seems to plush out through every single play session. And you know how stiffer strings typically don't have decent power? Well, the Big Hitter Silver 7 Tour doesn't have that problem. Even with a little bit of acceleration, the ball lands fairly deep and controlled for a stiff-shaped poly, at least in terms of power. More on the launch angle later. And at the net, the stick volleys are nice and crisp, and it doesn't have that hollow feeling the Slinko Hyper-G, but more like the Slinko Tour Bite, where there is a nice thud behind the stick volley instead of a pinging sound. And for the serves, this was an absolutely fantastic string for serves. The power, launch angle, and placement for flat serves were all top-notch. In fact, I felt like I served more aces per singles match with this string than any of the strings I've place tested in recent memory, specifically shaped polys. Obviously, it's anecdotal because I don't have the stats behind it. Now, let's talk about the cons after you hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell for more original tennis content.
So with the Tourna Big Hitter Silver 7 Tour, with a target tension of 50 pounds, it's 34 DT upon string. 34 DT equates to 49 pounds, and if I go to 35 DT, it goes to 51. So it's definitely within range, pretty accurate. So we'll see how this bad boy does on court. So after about 3.5, maybe 4 hours of straight hitting on court, the Silver 7 Tour is at 27 DT, which equates to about 40 pounds. So the tension is actually, at least for a shaped poly, kind of expected. But one thing that these readings won't tell you, and this is obviously subjective, is that it doesn't feel like the tension dropped more than 2.5, maybe 3 pounds. So feeling-wise, the tension maintenance is actually pretty top-notch, but obviously there's about 10 to maybe 11 pounds of tension drop according to the readings of the ERT 300.
This was the only string I noticed that did this. Every time I hit with a Big Hitter Silver 7 Tour, it took me about 5 minutes of mini tennis and baseline hitting for the discomfort in my wrist to go away. After that break-in period, which admittedly happened literally every single time I played with this string, it felt fine, with no comfort issues at all. The launch angle from the baseline can be a little too high sometimes. The flatter strokes, like approach shots, sometimes did sail longer than expected. Also, this is not the best string for drop shots. I never felt comfortable getting underneath the ball with a great finesse for a confident baseline drop shot. Well, what do you guys think? Did I hit the sweet spot or did I completely miss-hit this? Leave a comment down in the section below, or better yet, join my Discord to discuss all things tennis. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, where my best friend and I from high school are on the way to becoming some of the best World of Warcraft players to date. This string was play tested by Technofiber T-Fight 315 and was originally strung at 50 pounds. And as always, happy hitting.